Okay, hello. I really want to talk about the Jeffree Star, Trisha Paytas situation. Now, I've kind of like loosely talked about this, but obviously we know that Jeffree and Trisha were filming the Just Trish podcast together, and this came after Jeffree went on the cancelled podcast, which, by the way, I really want to know what the reaction was like to that, because I made like a full-on video going through it. I wonder if people loved it, hated it, whatever. Like, I just completely disagreed with the fact that they did the episode in the first place. I disagree with the fact that Trisha did the episode in the first place. I think, like, why are we having Jeffree, like, why are we opening our arms to Jeffree Star? Like, this man is truly one of, like, the worst people ever. Like, if you do not know, I did, like, an entire deep dive on Jeffree Star. I will link it down below, and it goes into all of Jeffree's allegations, hush money payoffs, everything. And also, he's just, like, disrespected everyone within the YouTube space and then ran off and was like, I don't need y'all. And then is, like, coming back because he needs us. So, 19,000 dislikes. And yeah, I did dislike it because I really didn't enjoy it. Okay, so 47,000 likes, 19,000 dislikes. What are the comments on this? Brooke looks so genuinely scared of Jeffree. Brooke learning to use nonverbal communication like silent applause and pointing to agree because she couldn't get a sentence in is wild to me. There's absolutely no silliness in this whole video. Brooke is trying and y'all are ignoring her. The irony of him saying he has such a healthier lifestyle without fast food and then immediately picking up his vape. Real. Not them treating Brooke like a fan. Jeffree talking to Brooke like she's lived under a rock for the last 15 years is driving me nuts. This was such a hard watch between them kissing Jeffree's ass the entire time and Tana's with every sentence Jeffree speaks. When Brooke tried to say something and Jeffree said, I can't breathe, completely deadpan instead of responding, I saw her physically retreat. They seem scared to disagree with him. It's really weird. Literally didn't hear Brooke finish one sentence. As someone who used to be a huge fan of Jeffree before his last cancellation, I spent this whole episode thinking, how in the hell did I ever like this guy? He just comes across as so narcissistic, is blatantly trying to rewrite history, and I cannot stand this narrative that he is so unbiased and authentic. Not one single part of his personality in this seemed anywhere close to authentic. Interesting. Now, as well, what was really interesting about this was the fallout of after filming, which was when Jeffree went on TikTok Live and the Cancel Girls decided to do a Patreon Live, which why they decided to do a live stream then was absolutely beyond me. And Jeffree was being so rude to them. And it genuinely just seems like Tana was like so obsessed with him and also like terrified of him and agreeing with everything he said. Like anything Jeffree said was like the truth. So whenever Trisha was filming the episode, I was like, okay, well, this is a fucking disaster and this is such a stupid decision from Trisha. Like, why are you platforming him? Like, it's so bizarre to me because Trisha had really worked on changing her outward brand that I was like, why are you willing to risk all of that again with giving Jeffree exactly what he wants, which is access to you to then provoke you or anything? Like, I was like, you worked so hard with Just Trish to kind of rebrand. Why would you fuck that up over Jeffree Star? And again, I understand when you're doing podcasts and stuff, if you have only guests that agree with you, you know, it'll be boring. I understand it. But with Trisha, I was like, really? Like, it just didn't feel worth it. Like, Tana and Brick, I was like, okay, like, the integrity of the Cancel podcast, like, whatever. But I was like, Trisha really worked with Just Trish. So, I don't know. I was like, this is a bad decision. Now, ultimately, it has been revealed through, apparently I've been seeing online Trisha and Jeffree have been, like, deleting posts together or something along the lines. And it has been very long since they filmed the episode that it is not coming out. Now, a lot of people for the last couple weeks have been like, oh my God, the episode's going to come out next week. No. Okay, next week. Wait. The week after next. So when this episode happened, when the filming of it happened, I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I do not talk to Trisha, or I really don't talk to anyone I make videos on, but it was the first time in a very long time that I had messaged Trisha Paytas, and I was like, hey, in case you see the videos that I'm making, I also don't want to be two-faced, and I want you to know that I feel like this behind the scenes as well as publicly, that this is like one of the biggest mistakes that I feel like you are making. And I was like, this is bad. Like, why are you doing this? And we had a conversation back and forth. And ultimately, you know, Trisha said she's not going to post the episode. And I think that that was for the best. And I love it that Jeffree flew out to LA to go on the Just Trish podcast. Like, after him bullying Trisha for so many years, he needs Trisha. She films with him and she doesn't even fucking post it. It's so good. Like, Trisha now has the upper hand over Jeffree. And I'm like, wow. I know that sucks and is so humbling, Jeffree, that you took time out of your busy schedule for Trisha Paytas. And she didn't care enough to post the fucking episode. Brutal. Why is she not posting the episode? Now, I'm not going to say the reasons that she said she's not posting it. That's up to her to say that. But allegedly, the filming of the podcast did not go as great as what Jeffree insinuated. Because Jeffree immediately ran to TikTok Live and was like, that was so healing and that was amazing or whatever. I didn't get that from Trisha's messages. And the fact that Trisha's being so silent about this, I love it, if I'm being completely honest, because it is the ultimate fuck you to Jeffree. And the fact that only a couple months ago he was still making fun of her for the Vegas story and stuff, and then he's coming crawling back to her, and Trisha Paytas, of all people, is the one who's like ignoring you. Oh my God. So obviously we have these TikToks, which ironically Jeffree was posting, of them both. So we know that they did film the podcast, right? But it's not coming out. And again, I think bringing Jeffree Star into your home. Oh, I love Shay and Bree, if anyone knows them. I think that bringing Jeffree Star into your home was definitely a choice. I think that was definitely a really interesting choice, actually, from Trisha. I truly do believe that he is such a negative person. I believe that he is an evil person as well. Call me dramatic, but Jeffree Star is evil. And hey, I feel like I have to say this every time when it comes to Trisha. Trisha Paytas has her own things to be called out for. And by the way, let's please not rewrite history. A lot of people will be like, Adam, why are you sucking up to Trisha and I and all like this? And the Trisha haters will be in my Twitter comments and stuff like that. Motherfucker, we spent many years exposing Trisha Paytas. We spent many years, day in, day fucking out, covering stories of her being called out. Don't fucking play with me that I'm up Trisha Paytas's arse, or that I don't cover things that Trisha needs to be called out for, which is so ironic as well, because so many of the things that these little Trisha haters, which by the way, can I just like directly address them here, right? There's a very small number of you guys, right? And I've actually found out as well, through going through your profiles, that for some reason, a huge majority of you guys are Colleen Ballinger fans. I'm not kidding. I've done a lot of deep diving into this, and many of the Trisha Paytas fans haters I've found originated as Colleen Ballinger stan accounts. So this is what we're dealing with, right? But anyways, the things that they're coming at me for not addressing when it comes to Trisha Paytas are things I spent years uncovering. So I'm like, y'all are just dumb. But also, it's actually insane. These accounts on Twitter are posting every single day about Trisha. They are posting in the morning, good morning to everyone except Trisha Paytas. At nighttime, they're saying, I hope everyone has a beautiful sleep except for Trisha Paytas. You are obsessed. Like, you are truly, this is not about you wanting accountability. This is not you caring about situations that Trisha needs to be called out for. This has nothing to do with that. You know what this has to do with? This is a deep-rooted obsession. This is a deep-rooted obsession, and I hope you're hearing me loud and clear right now. I don't take you seriously, because not only have I extensively covered the stories that you're talking about to do with Trisha, and I've also covered them much better than how you're currently doing them, by the way, but you are truly obsessed with her. Like, you are really, really obsessed with her. and I just cannot take you seriously. Like, you are mentally ill. So, that's why I don't address y'all. You're actually fucking psychotic. Get help, please. So, anyways. So bizarre. So, they had filmed, as we see here, and Jeffree had went on saying that it was so great. Now, after filming, Trisha did get a lot of backlash. And a lot of people were saying that it was a wrong idea and stuff, and she actually addressed it on Just Trish. So I want to go back and re-watch what she had said about Jeffree in the podcast, and that she's still going to post it, knowing what we know now, that the episode isn't coming out. Also, going on tour in February. If you buy tickets to the London or Dublin show, I will be sending out signed art cards while I still have ones left. Just send me confirmation that you're coming. I'm doing Dublin March 10th, London March 9th. We're doing Dallas, LA, Seattle, Chicago, and Brooklyn. And also, I am currently doing Vlogmas on my second channel. Please go over and support it. There are vlogs every single day. And also, my favorite thing about my recent vlog is, look at this. This is the London venue. If you're coming to the London show, baby, this is Mucker's headquarters. This is going to be Mucker's headquarters on March 9th. So, if you're in the chat right now and you're coming to any of the shows, let me know. Also, if you want me to add a show in your place, comment down below. But this is going to be the London Muckers headquarters. Damn. Am I shitting myself? Yes. Yes. God, yes. OMG. I can't believe we're performing in a church. So anyways, let's watch what Trisha had to say in the moment of filming when she got the initial backlash. God, the cosplay was a little bit jarring here. All right, let's get to it. So this was from a month ago, and obviously we know now that the episode isn't coming out, but let's humor what Trisha was saying a month ago when she was initially getting backlash because of the interview.
It's not
today.
personal.
Yeah, it's not personal. Just Trish. Just Hunger Games. Just who am I? What is this character? Effie?
Effie Trinket.
Oh, okay. I always think of Effie from Dreamgirls, like Jennifer Hudson.
Very different.
Yeah.
I think.
Effie is such a funny name. Okay. All right.
Lead mask for the Mucker.
Our girls, Brooke and Tana, did have a little collab with Jeffree Star that got the internet ablaze. It kind of shook me too. I was like, what is going on here?
I'm shook too. I'm very shook about it. I was shook about it for a number of reasons, but go on. Yeah.
I'm sure you were. But it was quite interesting. And okay, so if you guys didn't know, Brooke and Tana, I guess they're doing a lot of guests right now, so they're recording a lot of interviews for Canceled, and they had Jeffree Star on, and for some reason, they decided to do a Patreon live after filming their episode with Jeffree Star, which in and of itself
So weird.
production issue. Like, if we're running, hey, you guys, we're going to do a Patreon live after we shoot Jeffree's interview, and he's just, like, sitting around, it's like, I don't know.
Oh, you think? Oh, and you're because I don't really know how it went down either. You think in your mind it's like this, like we just finished filming, and then like they're like, oh, just hang around if you want, and we'll do Patreon, or do you think it was more like, oh, we're filming Patreon, come with us?
I think it was that. Yes, I do think he was supposed to be involved in it, but I guess there were a lot of comments on the Patreon. Like Jeffree says that people were being mean to him in the comments.
People hated Jeffree. They were like, why are you collaborating with Jeffree? And Jeffree's like, your audience fucking hate me. And Tana was like, no, they love you. Look, there's one comment that says they love you. Oh.
On the Patreon Canceled live stream, and then Jeffree started his own TikTok live where he was in the same room as they were.
He just has this nasty, evil...
Oh my! This is so good. I feel like we're on like Sally Jesse Raphael or Mari. No.
Wendy, what was that?
Right.
So Jeffree decided to go on TikTok live because he hadn't been on live all day, mind you. He had not been on live all day.
Heaven fucking forbid.
Yes, he has not talked to his...
Tana quickly typing a Jeffree support comment. Look, they love you.
Yeah.
He had to
he's
go
like,
on TikTok live. Yeah. So then it was kind of a battle of the lives because Jeffree is going live on TikTok. And then people who paid the Patreon subscription for Canceled to see Tana and Brooke live were getting upset because they're like, okay, why are we paying a monthly fee for a live stream if we can go to Jeffree's TikTok and do it live?
That's what the comments were saying?
Yes. And then people went to Jeffree's TikTok, like Patreon members, flooded Jeffree's TikTok and being like, we're upset with him, leaving him mean comments on his actual TikTok. Mind you, they're in the same apartment. They're in Brooke's living room.
But they're both on live stream.
Both on live streams, yes. And it just got kind of a little awkward because you can kind of hear.
And Jeffree's also showing the view outside of Brooke's apartment, by the way, like fully doxing her.
Because they paid for it, but they're like, no, but we live for your lives, we love your lives, but they're just upset because they paid for this. So, and then Jeffree ended up staying on live, but he did go out to Brooke's balcony. But
I would feel awkward to tell Jeffree Star anything. I'd be like, it's fine, just do whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that's
what I'm saying. I think
Which again, when I watched this, I was like, oh, so the Just Trish episode is going to be fucking terrible. We have Trisha being like, I couldn't tell him no to anything. I'm like, okay, we've got to cut this off. Like, you have successfully done 127 episodes of this podcast without, like, having to rely on someone triggering you the same way we've seen in the past. Like, you don't need to do it. You don't need to do it.
I think when you're booking the production day and, Jeffree Star is booked right before the live stream.
Yeah.
No, like, let's rework things a little bit.
I think that's going to be us on Friday. Jeffree's booked before our Patreon on Friday, so I might run into that. Oscar shows up, and I'm like, Jeffree's live on TikTok. That's where I was concerned. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, okay. So we have Jeffree.
Which is crazy because obviously nothing came of that as well. Now, here's the thing. Selfishly, I would love Trisha to talk about the episode and the day on Just Trish, but then Jeffree would go like absolutely bananas against her and start exposing her and fucking attacking her and stuff. You know, the way he loves coming for women. But damn, I would just love to hear about that day in detail from her mouth. Trisha, please. Please. I need to know about Jeffree being humbled. Please. I just love the idea that he thinks the episode was coming out and it wasn't. This is brilliant. Truly nothing brings me more joy than a Jeffree Star humbling. God. Right? Right? To be a fly on that wall, you are absolutely correct. Now, I also think Trisha is going to keep this like narrative that the episode might come out because I think that Jeffree will play a game with Trisha. He will start talking on live stream like, well, Trisha doesn't want the episode to go out because she said this or she said that, which Trisha wouldn't have said, in an attempt to get Trisha to post the episode to prove that she's right. And therefore Jeffree wins because the episode goes up. See? He's not stupid. He's annoying, but...
happened before. Is it up today, the Jeffree episode?
I actually don't know because they've booked a few interviews. Yeah. This is the first one they've actually like promoted a lot, I think, right?
Right, because it's like a big deal. And so it was like, oh, okay. Like, and I knew Tana was here Sunday, so I knew she said Jeffree because she's like, oh, is he coming on Friday? I said, yeah. She's like, oh, he's coming on ours tomorrow. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I saw this happen. I was like, oh, thank God I have some more stuff to talk about for our interview. You know what I mean? There's a lot to cover.
So interesting as well to know that came up during the Just Trish filming about Jeffree being fucking hated.
I was like, this is like in addition to now, so that's like really great. Because we're gonna cover the same topics, which is fine. You know, we have different interviewing styles, but I just thought it was like, oh man, that's gonna be the same topic.
It's also really crazy to me that Tana and Trisha are doing this new podcast. People keep asking me my opinion of it. I'm gonna be honest, I just haven't gotten around to watching it yet. But I see that it's performing very well, so I mean, kudos. But it's crazy because that launched in the midst of all this. And so Tana and Brooke clearly booked Jeffree because Jeffree was going on the Trisha podcast, right? Because Trisha said she was reaching out to Jeffree to come on. And then they post their episode, get so much backlash, and Trisha doesn't even post theirs. Therefore, Tana and Brooke look like spineless losers, and Trisha didn't even post hers.
And then I was like, T, we got this one. We can have the aftermath of what went down.
It was interesting. Yeah, it definitely was interesting for sure.
I just saw clips of it. I wish I could have seen the whole thing. That's kind of... So did he shut off the live or he's like, I'm just going to go live?
He stayed live, yeah. He just went outside. And
he really did take the bullet.
Once they were kind of done filming their Patreon, like, live Q&A.
I'd have to think it would be planned, I would think. But I don't know. We could ask for a statement
you might have to get a statement from Jeffree.
Live in person. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I think Jeffree they all probably live because at the end of the day, I feel like it's an awkward situation. But if something like awkward happened here, like thank God, I hope it doesn't. First of all, I really hope it doesn't. But I mean, it's kind of like they got a lot of publicity. Like I heard everyone talking about it.
It was.
So I'm like, how bad did the Just Trish filming go in that Trish's attitude was, oh, if it goes wrong, at least it'll be great publicity. She's not even posting it.
Headline
you
this
know?
week,
So
yeah.
I feel like they should go put out the episode.
Him tucking his wig behind his ears is I do the same thing. I do it even now.
Your episode, but I was like, oh, it might be like a week before I put it out. So I don't know. I'm just like, just put it out. I'm sure we ask very different questions, and honestly, we're all kind of like.
Yeah, and your experience with Jeffree is very different. You have a lot of other
She did-
things to talk about as well.
She said they talked about the Vegas trip, and I was like, oh, okay, teeth. Yeah. But I have some input on that too.
Yes,
So.
well, may the odds be ever in your favor on Friday. I'll say that. Yeah, we'll say that.
I know the comments are scaring me. I was feeling really good. I talked to Jeffree on the phone for like an hour, and I was feeling good because, like Jeffree like apologized to me like on the phone again. Like what we said in
Which again is crazy because like a couple months ago he was still blaming her for the Vegas story, saying she's a liar. So he was obviously needing to come on Just Trish so bad for his own publicity that he was willing to, you know, bite his tongue.
was true is like he's like one of the only people who's ever like actually apologized to me, and like I feel like we always talk about this, like I'm the one apologizing to everyone. So Jeffree not only apologized to me during the Vegas thing after it happened, but he also apologized on the phone again, and he just like seemed like a very different Jeffree. Now seeing all this, I was like, oh my god, drama. but I'm here for a little drama. Don't worry, everyone. I did see comments saying, oh my god, I'm worried about Trish because she's in her healing and peaceful era. I'm still gonna be in my healing peaceful era. You know what I mean? I feel like it's all good.
And even more so now that it's not fucking coming out.
Everything's fine. And I do think energies are so different. I do think Brooke and Tana's
Yes,
energy,
I agree with
love
that.
them, but I think very different energy than the Just Trish
I agree with that.
setup.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see. And then he was in a little bit of drama with Michaela Neguera as well.
Okay, and then we don't need to watch that because that's something completely separate. But yeah, it's just really crazy to know all that and then know that the episode's not coming out, where I'm like, damn, I really want her to like publicly talk about the reason that it wasn't posted and, you know, what went down. And it's also really interesting that Jeffree is not even butting a word about this as well. I'm like, damn, the dragon is evil. Is evil. The dragon's quiet about this as well. You know what I mean? Jafar is, you know, he's not even, it's like, wow. Did it go that bad on both sides? I need to know further. I need to know further. Brooke and Tana are just a different vibe. Well, Jeffree wouldn't know. He wouldn't have let them talk the entire time. The dragon got dived. So, anyways, in closing this, I'm going to link down below a video of me kind of deep diving into all of Jeffree Star's allegations. I think it's very important to watch. It's the one video I will advocate. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. It'll be linked down below, and we will leave it here. But again, it's just lovely knowing that he came crawling back to Trisha Paytas, and while she allowed it, he's not getting anything out of it. He wasted... Jeffree, you wasted an entire day! And I know how busy you are. And you know what's even crazier? Trisha Paytas is the one that got to fuck you over. Brilliant. Beautiful. Beautiful. And you know, as much as I would like to see the mess that went down, I still believe that it shouldn't be posted. And you know, as much as I would love to know what happened during the filming, I don't think Trisha should talk about it. Jeffree just wasted his time. He just wasted his time. And it's brilliant. It really is brilliant. So we will leave it there. But yeah, go check out that video.